Well, I don't think that is most likely the case because I really trust the bitmain company. I think they're not bullshitting. What's up guys, welcome to another video. This is Charlie Lin. Well, I'm not wearing my glasses today because my glasses dim under the sunshine. But you will be able to see my eyes really clearly, right? Alright, today's video is going to be very simple and very short because I have a flight to catch to fly to North Carolina to visit a really good customer of mine. This customer and company is among the most important people that I would have to visit in this US trip. That customer sent me the invitation letter for my visa application. So I would definitely have to visit them in this trip here in the United States. Today's video is going to be very simple and short because I'm just going to talk to you about some of the meetings I had here in Houston. So I've stayed here in Houston for 3 days. On the first day, a really good follower of my YouTube channel as well as a customer of two S19 Pro came to visit me. He invited me for a really good breakfast, and on the third day of my stay he showed me around Houston and he showed me how to shoot guns. That is the first time for me to ever shoot a gun in my entire life. So that is a really life-changing experience. His name is Robbie. I'm really grateful to him. Robbie, if you're watching this video, I appreciate everything that you have done for me. So the main reason why I came to Houston is because of Dr. Xu, the business partner of Mr. Fan, the immersion cooling guy that does immersion cooling boxes and containers. Dr. Xu is not a full-time miner by himself, but he is involved in a really big mining project for the largest Bitcoin miner from China. Well, mining was banned in China, right? So all these big shots for Bitcoin mining have to move their facilities to somewhere else. So this largest miner of Bitcoin in China also had to do the same. Although we know Houston also witnesses the rise of electricity costs, just like every corner in the world. So in this regard, I'm just saying, if you think for you Bitcoin investment and Bitcoin mining is very hard, it is the same for everybody. It is the same for you, and it's the same also for the big shots and the biggest miners across the world. Unless you get electricity 100% for free, well, I mean, it's not just for a few machines, it's for hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of machines. That is really hard, right? In this video, we're probably going to talk about, again, pros and cons between immersion cooling and hydro cooling. Okay, why are we talking about this again? Well, the reason is very simple. It is exactly due to the very true fact that is happening for mining. Electricity costs are too high for everyone. It is too high for individuals and also for the big shots and big corporations. There are some companies that have to liquidate all of their assets, including their miners. So you can imagine how hard it is to mine for pretty much everybody. That's why we need immersion cooling and hydro cooling, because to mine the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies under the current electricity rate simply makes no sense. In the evening of my first stay here in Houston, Dr. Xu invited me to join in his family dinner for a really big turkey. That was really fun and unforgettable for me because I have never tried a turkey pretty much ever in my life. I really appreciated his kindness and generosity. So on the following day, Dr. Xu showed me around Antspace. Well, I didn't know the bitmain company has any of these facilities here in Houston. I tried to contact the bitmain people that I connected with in the Cancun show, WDMS 2022. Well, they seemed not that much ready for me to join in a tour like this. Anyway, I got Dr. Xu because Dr. Xu knows a lot of big guys, including the largest miner from China, and he has one of the friends that bought actually 2 sets of Antspaces from the bitmain company. It is a regret that I didn't go to Washington to see some of the Antspaces in a group, but I still got the honor and opportunity to see the Antspaces in person, like in private, right? So it is also very good. On the day when I was visiting the Antspaces with Dr. Xu, it was raining. I posted on Instagram saying I was literally water-cooled when I was visiting the Antspaces. Okay, so the reason why Dr. Xu was invited to see the Antspaces is because his friend and his colleague found the Antspaces very hard to install in the beginning. Well, I know it takes a little bit more time for them to do that, but that exactly says the hydro cooling is a really good solution. But as compared with immersion cooling containers that are launched by Mr. Fan, it is just not as convenient. The drawback of Mr. Fan's immersion cooling container is that it is just too expensive. But Mr. Fan's immersion cooling container is really easy to install. It is just like plug and play because it is a really large container with everything included. It is all-in-one with both the dry cooler and the mining container. And you can move the container either on a truck or on a ship to travel all across the world. But for the hydro containers like the Antspaces launched by Bitmain, you have to build the water tower and the mining container separately. They both have pros and cons. One of the concerns Dr. Xu has for the Antspaces is that he has a little bit of doubt on the specifications of the Antspaces. Well, it is that the power efficiency rate of the Antspaces seems to be a little bit too hard to be true. Anyway, they're going to do more observation and testing before they derive a final conclusion. And Dr. Xu even doubts if the so-called S19XP hydro container is just an overclocked version of the S19XP 140 terahash. If that's really true, let's see. Well, I don't think that is most likely the case because I really trust the bitmain company. I think they're not bullshitting because they're a so big company, right? With those so many talented and capable people. Anyway, there is probably a very harsh suggestion that I would have to convey to you from Dr. Xu. It is that Dr. Xu thinks any of these S19 Pro series around 100 terahash to 110 terahash may become outdated in the future very soon. He thinks there is perhaps no future for these S19 Pro series antminers. There is only future for the slightly more powerful antminers, including those S19XP 141 terahash, because you just cannot catch up with the hashing difficulty. Okay, there's probably another reason why Dr. Xu suspects the S19 Pro 100 terahash to 110 terahash models may become outdated, just like one of these S9 miners in the used ASIC miner market. It is that from one of the latest quotations from Bitmain for their large mining farm, the quotation for the S19 104 terahash and S19 Pro 110 terahash is really low. If I tell you this number, your jaw would drop to the ground. So Dr. Xu thinks that this is a very important sign that the Bitmain company is trying to get rid of these S19 Pro models. He thinks the price says everything. It does look like to Dr. Xu that the bitmain company is trying to clear the stock of all their S19 antminer models. For me, as someone that has sold a lot of the S19 Pro series, well, it is really hard to take because I also care for my customers, right? Anyway, my YouTube channel and all my videos in my channel should not form as financial advice to you. So if you like the S19 Pro antminer series, you can keep buying. You know, no one knows which is the best option. Well, even Dr. Xu may not know what he's talking about because he is not a full-time miner by himself. The only truth that everyone knows so far, and it is absolutely correct, it is that mining is so hard. To make mining profitable again is so hard. So ask Mr. Xu, shouldn't we never worry about it? Because Bitcoin is definitely going to come back. Well, Dr. Xu said, we definitely understand it in that kind of light, but the reality is reality. If you find that you cannot sustain your mining, you will quit. Even for those big miners. That's the reason why the big miners will have to move their facilities to anywhere else and upgrade their mining solutions. Well, of course, we know mining will be profitable again as soon as Bitcoin comes back. But we also have to deal with the fact that not everybody is Bill Gates or Warren Buffett and has money that can go on forever. Oh, today I also want to talk about some of the updates for the L7 antminers. The update is that the L7 miner has experienced a really big drop in the price. Well, it's a massive drop, and even for myself, I regretted my procurement decision because I bought quite a few L7 miners for two really important customers of mine. Well, if I just waited for just a few hours, we could have saved a lot more money together. So that's exactly what I was talking about in my previous videos. It is that we really have to get updated on the supply and demand in the market for any of the models that we want to buy. I really didn't expect that to happen because that happened just so quickly. It happened just in a matter of hours. Anyway, this is a news for you. If L7 miner is one of your favorites, today the price is much better. I don't know if the price will go up, and I don't know if the price will go further down. But we really have to apply the dollar cost averaging every time we see there is a big changes in the price of the machines. We cannot buy all the miners at the same time. It is really sensible and wise to make your large procurement of miners in small fractions over a long period of time. So you can pretty much get the average cost of these different prices over these long periods. Okay, so you may be curious about what Dr. Xu's decisions will be. Is he going to choose the Antspaces, or is he going to choose the Mr. Fan's immersion cooling containers? His answer is he's probably going to get both of them. Well, back in China, we have a very interesting saying. It is that the adults never make choices, only the kids do. The adults want everything. So that's what exactly Dr. Xu is doing. Dr. Xu told me that aside from the Antspaces and Mr. Fan's immersion cooling containers, he's probably going to get the Wattsminer hydro cooling solutions as well. The Wattsminer hydro cooling solution is again slightly different. It is using the kind of blade system for these water coolers to be installed. So you will see the miners to be racked together in 1U or 2U racks. So the reason why Dr. Xu and his team is probably going to get all of these solutions is that he believes there are both pros and cons in all of these cooling solutions. None of them is just 100% perfect. We can never say the Antspaces is not as good as the immersion cooling container or the vice versa. Everyone has different understanding on how to improve the efficiency of the cooling and mining, and also how to make sure the environment is the safest and the most stable. They need more testing with these 3 different cooling solutions, and they're going to derive more results. If I have some more updates, I will let you know. Okay, maybe this is pretty much about what I want to share with you today. My next video probably will be shot in North Carolina or Utah, because I have really important customers in both of these places. I look forward to see you in my next video. Thank you.